I'm here at the Embassy of Tribal Nations in Washington, D.C. to meet with leaders of indigenous nations from within the United States in the context of my official visit to the United States as Special Rapporteur on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples, a Special Rapporteur of the United Nations Human Rights Council. The visit to the United States is to assess the situation of indigenous peoples in this country in light of the standards that are affirmed in the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples, which was adopted by the UN General Assembly in 2007 and which was endorsed subsequently in 2010 by the United States. And so I've been meeting with government officials from various agencies and departments of the federal government, and I'll be going throughout the United States or through various locations within the United States to consult directly with tribal leaders, leaders of indigenous nations and organizations to learn about their situations, their specific concerns, the challenges they face, and their successes in moving forward in the exercise of their sovereignty and self-determination. I'll be returning back to Washington to give my preliminary assessment and meetings with officials of the federal government and meetings hopefully with leaders and tribal and indigenous leaders here at NCAI. And that will be followed by a written report which I will develop and submit to the United Nations Human Rights Council. That report will be an official report of the United Nations, a report that will be authored by me in my capacity as Special Rapporteur. As Special Rapporteur, I'm an independent expert of the Human Rights Council, so this will be an objective assessment of the situation in light of the Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples. I will have recommendations about how I think, on the basis of that assessment, there should be changes or further developments along the lines of what's already happening, if there are good practices in place, with a view towards bettering the conditions and moving forward toward better conditions for indigenous peoples and greater space for the exercise of their sovereignty and self-determination within the context of the United States legal and policy framework. My meeting here at NCAI, at the Embassy of Tribal Nations, has been very fruitful. I've been able to hear firsthand from leaders of indigenous nations, various indigenous nations from various parts of the country who've been gathered here, and learn about their perspectives, about many of the issues they are concerned about, having to do with the exercise of sovereignty and self-determination and their rights, learning about their perspectives on the UN Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples, learning about their expectations for my country visit and how they think it could help in their quest and their efforts to secure greater and more effective recognition of their rights. So I've been very happy to have this opportunity, and I look forward to continued dialogue and engagement with NCAI and the leaders of its member nations.